Hey everybody, welcome to my first mini movie, Parquet Doing Work. This is my version of Kobe doing work. This is some gameplay from round one of the Naughty Racing League I participated in. I'm really excited to get this one out to y'all. This was a really fun one. So I'll see y'all there. Konnichiwa. We are in Japan today at high speed ring, 26 laps, variable weather, so we gotta be looking out for the rain. We have our choice of soft and intermediate tires at our disposal, depending on how wet it gets or doesn't get. You'll have to stick around and see what happens there. And in terms of machinery, we are in the Bugatti Vision Gran Turismo. The perfect machine and the perfect track combination that allows us to go fast and turn right. Coming towards the end of lap one here, and things are looking up. I started in 6th position, now I'm in 4th. I was cooking, but it's time to put the spatula down. This is a long race, and in cars like these, you put one foot down the wrong way and everything is kapooey. And just to confirm, kapooey is not good in auto racing. So by this point in lap 2, I had settled in a bit. I kind of got the nerves out of me from it being a live event and feeling like everybody in the lobby was going to be so much blazingly faster than me. Being able to qualify in 6th position and seeing that, the split from 1st to 10th place on the grid was maybe separated by just a couple of tenths. I felt like I was within a shout of being able to qualify, or not qualify, but finish the race on the podium. This league has F1 style points, so anything 10th place and up is going to get you some points. I'm really trying to play the long game and see if I can maybe qualify for the final coming up in about a month or so here. Fast forwarding a bit to lap 8, Zilla did a nice little move on me up the inside and kind of stayed like that. We ended up building a bit of rapport, I would say, over those 5 laps, and here we go into the bowl again. We see, I think that's Zilla right there having a bit of a moment on the exit, so I'm able to get that position back. And at this point, the racing soft tires are not on their last leg, but I'm definitely feeling like we're going to have to pit soon. You see Cyrus there Cyrus and Horn of Plenty actually deciding to go ahead and get some new boots on, so me and Zilla are going to continue down our path. Also, Cyrus, if you ever watch this, shout out to you. I love that movie that you made. I love just the fact you make movies. I think that's so cool. But the movie about the dude slapping the old boy for talking crazy to him, I love that energy. And at this point, it's all about finishing up the lap strong. I got Zilla hot on my tail. I'm going into the bowl. Had to lift off there a bit. Well, I didn't have to lift, but I wasn't confident enough to go full throttle on these tires, and Zilla actually takes full advantage of that and gets his or her position back. And yeah, we both dive into the pits from here. This being the first pit stop, a simple one, no drama. We know we just got to get new tires on. We're not going to refuel at this point. From my practice laps, I knew that I could probably get away with refueling closer to the end of the race on the second pit stop. So for now, we can settle into the cockpit, look forward, and get this second stint off to a hot and fast start. Finishing up lap 13 here with my fastest lap up to this point, and now mentally I am locked in on the fact that I am leaving the forest rather than entering it, starting lap 14, that being over halfway through the race, and we're still pretty settled at this point. We got second place. We're about 8 seconds behind Cyrus, who put up a 58.7 blazing fast, and we're a little bit in front of MD Hop, who I think qualified he may have qualified second place, so I knew I couldn't relax too much because any tenths getting linked off anywhere, he was going to be sopping those up. You can see him right there, plotting and waiting for me to make a mistake so he can take full advantage. So at this point, I want to talk a bit about weather. As you all know, my name is Parquet. I like data. I like working in the cloud, and the cloud is actually what I was mostly focused on over these next couple of laps because the dynamic weather was rolling in. You see here on lap 15, we have pretty sunny days. There's a little cloud back there in the distance. Here on lap 16, it's still a little sunny, a little cloudy, blue skies. But as we come around this turn 3 right here, I noticed it was a little bit not as crisp of a blue. So I knew that there was, probably a light little rain cloud coming in. Here on lap 17, I was fully convinced everything feels a little bit more dull, a little bit more gray. And as I'm coming out of the tunnel, it wasn't as bright of a feeling. And you can see why here the sun is behind the clouds rather than in front of them or shining through. So we know that it's about to be decision time for everybody. There's a choice we all had to make between staying on the soft tires or going on the intermediates. And after taking a look at the weather radar, I decided to stay on the softs. We also need to refuel here. Cyrus just dived into the pits there. He's on 10% fuel, so he's been revving it out. And over to the Bugatti boys. While they get us put together with new boots and all, I want to talk a little bit more about that decision behind staying on the softs. In practice, I was able to pick up on a little bit of a pattern that if it was going to rain and the track was going to be real wet, we would have seen, the weather system on the weather radar. But because it wasn't there, I knew that the game was kind of pump faking us. It was going to be cloudy. It was going to look kind of gloomy and disgusting, but the track was probably going to stay dry. I do remember in retrospect that I want to say it was lead pencil, actually. Apologies if I get it wrong, but in his post-race interview, he mentioned that even though it didn't rain, the track temperatures are dropping, so the grip was leaving us a little bit. I wish I would have been able to know and take advantage of that a little bit more, and that just speaks to the racing IQ and acumen of the folks that are in these lobbies, right? Like, who would even think of that if you're not some type of super genius? So that's the kind of it is not easy in these lobbies at all with going up against high level thinkers of the game, right? Speaking of lead, he's coming out of the pits here, and him and Cyrus actually make it 3 wide for a bit. It was a bit of a risky move on my behalf there. I went for a gap because I'm a racing driver, but looking back at the film, it was probably a little bit you know, it was a little bit touch and go there, but you know, shout out, rest in peace to Senna. I saw the gap, I went for the gap. We're racing, and everybody seemed to make it out of there alive, and I am not only alive coming out of there, but I'm in second place, thriving, even though it was short-lived. Made a little mistake out of there, and Zilla was able to take advantage again. I did not do a good job on my exits out of that bowl, and again, it could be due to the track temperatures just dropping away from us and that grip not being there that I was used to earlier on in the race when, you know, it was sunshine and rainbows and butterflies everywhere outside. So now there's 5 laps to go. We are officially entering winning time, where all mistakes will be amplified and all clutch plays will be saved and clipped and put on YouTube, like this video here is. And we're going to see how winning time went for me. I'm in second place right now, silver medal, and I was finally able to take that bowl in a good fashion. So I am coming down the main straight here. Lead is solidly in my slipstream. I know that he's probably going to get the overspeed and be able to get the move done, take me out. So not going to fight it too much. Let's not lose too much time. We got Cyrus a second behind us, and the thinking at the time was to try to work together with Lead and get that gap from 1.2 to 1.4, 1.8. Looking back on it, hindsight of course being 2020, I was definitely doing a bit of playing not to lose rather than playing to win. But again, this being my first sim racing competition, I'm definitely okay erring on the side of you know, safety and caution. I'm playing with house money in my mind at this point. As you can see here, I give Lead a bit of a bump draft there, still trying to get that gap a little bit wider between us and Cyrus, but Cyrus is just so rapid that it doesn't work very well. It actually works out to my detriment, and he's able to catch up a bit, just gaining about 4 or 5 tenths just through those couple of turns there. Horn of Plenty's in the pits. The intermediates did not end up working out too well for them just because of the rain. And oh, there goes MD Hop off to the side there, had a bit of a moment. So now we're playing with house money double time. We're in first, second position, fighting for it all. Coming down main straight again, giving Lead another bump draft, pushing him along, getting as much of the beautiful slipstream as I can, and I was able to actually push the gap up a bit on Cyrus there, up to a second, which was, you know, thought everything was going to plan. Also a 10th down on my fastest lap. That slipstream, man, is just such a crucial part of a momentum track like this, where you really need to be pushing the limit and maximizing the performance at all times, especially if there being you know, only one braking zone. At this point, I'm looking up, I see Cyrus is about 7 tenths behind me, and that gap is quickly shrinking by the second. And it's all about to go down here, honestly. End of lap 24, beginning of lap 25, and now the gloves are off. The racing gloves are, I guess they're on at this point, but blue flags are out. Cyrus is now going for the move up the inside on me, and like the, you know, amazing pilot he is able to get it done and knock me down into third place. But we can't spend too much time harping on that, because Zilla is right behind me in line trying to do the same thing. He's 5/10 behind coming down this priority corner. So I'm definitely in for a dogfight here as we approach the end of this race. And wow, was the ending of this race a barn burner. Just watching it back now is getting me excited and amped up and honestly ready to race again next Saturday because of the the rush coming down here into T1. This is where my chances at first place are going to kind of end. I get caught up with trying to navigate the blue flag here, and I think those two had a little bit of contact. I ended up getting the short end of that stick, but that's racing. That's kind of what happens, and luckily I was able to keep it out of the wall and also keep my podium position, which in a daily race that probably would not have ended up happening. So shout out again to you, Big Naughty, for this amazing track and car combination and the amazing league. You be in that Discord and on the behind the scenes working, man. I see it. Back to the race here, coming down final straight. I found myself in P4 for a little bit, but now in P3. It's a drag race between me and Zilla. Cyrus is in second, and I end up coming out on top. We're about 6 thousandths in front of Zilla here. That was good enough for, again, I don't know how many points that is in the championship standings, but I know I am, definitely above where I thought I would be. So very excited. And here you can see the margins that we're really working with in this league. And this is why this league is so amazing and I love it so much. So can't wait for next week. See y'all next time. Goodbye.